G'day viewers, welcome to this week's PB's Retro Restorations. This week I'm starting another model kit. It's going to be a tribute build. This is the first part. Remembering loved ones is one of the big factors of this hobby for me. My granddad and Uncle Phil, they had some pretty neat Chevys and some Fords too. Chevys were their number one, that's me Uncle Phil. I'm working on a replica of that Chevy as well, but it's a bit more involved, it's still coming. So what's this got to do with the 68 Chevelle, I hear you ask, dear viewer? Well, I'm a cool uncle, and it seems like everybody's got at least one cool uncle, and my Uncle Phil's cool uncle was Uncle Sam, who owned this SS 396 big block Chevelle in Australia in right-hand drive when it was new. Now, this must have really bent some brains in Ballarat, this car, when it came rumbling down the street. Lorraine, Sam and Pearl's daughter, tells me that everywhere they took it, they get their ear chewed off about it. It really was, it's a special car to begin with, but down under in the 60s and 70s, it was just that little bit extra special. So I'm really hoping I can do the Chevelle some justice in honour of my Uncle Phil and in turn his Uncle Sam. I'm using the Revell kit as a base, so let's have a quick unboxing and then we'll hook in to part one. Lovely tyres. They got red lines on them though. I don't think that'll suit, but I'll work that out. Now the Revell kit is beautiful, as you can see so far. It comes with a couple of wheel options, the rally wheels and the 5-slotters. They're both really nice wheels, but Sam's had a set of the factory GM simulated wire wheel covers. Now, why do we never throw anything away from other model kits? Because sometimes you find exactly what you're after. These wire wheel covers, I don't know if they're exactly the same. They came out of the AMT Gear Hustler El Camino, which is like a Chevelle Ute, really, isn't it? I don't know if they're exactly the same as Sam's, but they are very, 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 very close and will do the trick. It's really nicely moulded, this kit. It's a pretty new mould. I haven't built this kit before. You get like a full frame. It's all separate. It's going to be a lot of fun to build. And should be fairly easy too when it's all nice and clean like this. Now, nice interior, but of course my biggest problem is a left-hand drive dash, and that is not going to wash. I haven't been able to find, sometimes you can get model companies will make, right-hand drive conversion ones, but I'm going to have to try and make my own. That's going to be the only solution to that. There's the base. Now here's the decals. Now I looked at Sam's, I've looked at the photos, it does not appear to have had the stripe option on it, so I won't be using any of them, but it has got some lovely dash decals and all the underhood decals. I have to make some custom license plates for it too. So that's where we're at. Let's get crack-a-lackin'. I forgot to say it. I've got to say crack-a-lackin' or Lord knows what will happen. Let's start off with a black primer base on all the sprues, all the frames, so I can just go from there. Hang them from my roof like meat in a butcher's. Now you've got to stick the little rear quarter parts on because Revell cleverly engineered this kit so that it could be built as a 68 first, and they've since released it as the 69. Same body, of course, so make it interchangeable, which is good. So in researching the colour for the Chevelle, the closest I could find on the expert websites was that it's probably grotto blue. Now grotto blue in a two-tone came with a white painted roof. Lorraine tells me that Sam's Chevelle had a vinyl top. Whether it was a factory option or, you could get a vinyl top put on anywhere back in the day, I don't know. But I'm going to replicate it. But because the Revell doesn't have the chrome strips on it for a two-tone top, I'm putting them on with some white styrene. Now, I know it's not quite the right scale, but this is what I had in the shed. It's pretty close. I'm happy with it. I'm just going to try and replicate the way it curves around the body lines and try and get it close. Alright, so now I'm applying my masking tape vinyl roof. Yes, I know it's blue, that's because I'm going to paint over it. But you'll also note that later on it changes colour, because I did this a few times. I usually lay it on like that and I mould it into the moulds. What an idiot thing to say. And then I cut it off, and I struggled with this blue stuff, so I changed out to some Tamiya stuff. And I had more success with it, as you'll see. So once I get through all that fanoodling and cutting, and I'm left with this. I'm pretty pleased with how it's shaping up. Okay, so I sprayed over it with black, just so I've got that even black base coat on it again. And then I gave it a gloss white coat as a base for the pearl paint. Now this isn't Tamiya white paint, it's Mr. Hobby white paint. Yeah, you'll get sick of that joke soon enough. Anyway, this is actually my first proper go of airbrushing a whole car body, and I learned some valuable lessons I'll tell you about in a minute. Valuable lesson number one is when you're masking off the white paint on your roof, make sure you cover it all up properly. I missed a spot and had to stop halfway through. The other valuable lesson I have for you viewers is before you start using this paint, make sure you've got enough of it. You wouldn't want to run out halfway through doing it like I did. What a dope. So I mail ordered it because the hobby shop that keeps it's on the north side of Brisbane, about a 40-minute drive from me. And so shout out to Hobby Rama at Stafford. Ordered it one afternoon, was at my house the next day. You cannot complain about that. So here I am removing the tape, fully expecting to rip my vinyl top off as well, but I didn't. And hey presto, boy howdy, here we are. So this is where I'm up to at the moment with it. I've got to do all the chrome detailing, of course, around the windows, and I've also got to clear coat it and give it a bit of a gloss. But for my first airbrush body, I'm well pleased with it. It's not perfect. I know it probably went a bit too close, and I'm sure you can see some imperfections in it. But I'm really pleased with the project. It's got off to a great start, and I can't wait to share the next instalment with you all. So sadly, the Chevelle's no longer in the ownership of the family. But a car like this, a special car like this doesn't just vanish. I'm sure it's still out there on the roads. If you know some Chevy guys in Australia or some of the club guys and think you might know where it is, shoot me an email. I know Lorraine and the family would love to know that it's still kicking. I'm sure, I don't think they want to buy it back. But just a message to say that yes, and maybe a photo. which is a stretch. I don't have a million viewers, but maybe you know someone who does and get the word out. Thanks very much for watching this slightly different episode of PBs. I'll be back next Friday at 9:15 with the regular diecast video, and I'll have some more updates on the Chevelle soon. Thanks very much. Bye!